Like TeddyGrey on stuff, whooshy gives a proper reaction.
And now for something completely different.
Hey, what is good, Outcast Gang? Now, allegedly, this interview has been deleted. I have no idea why. However, I've managed to get a hold of it. So, without further ado, please like, comment, subscribe, and let's go. I've also put the playback speed up.
Loki deep.
So it won't take us long to get through.
Okay. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time and talking to me. I was wondering if you could maybe remember your first memory that you connect with music, like maybe an early childhood memory or something.
Before he starts, I just want to say, he 100% has a pair of Yeezy sliders on. He's got a pair of Yeezy sliders on, and he mentioned... Did he mention? Yeah, he did. Kanye's documentary was so... Lames try to... style just cause falling out here, hop on board when you see the wave coming. He mentioned Ye, and then Corday said, I just met Kanye, Yezos. Is something coming between NF and Kanye West? Because I'll be honest, they're both on like a Christian vibe, so it makes sense. The grey sweats as well, let's go NF.
Do you connect with music, like maybe an early childhood memory or something?
Oh man, I'd never be able to remember like the first memory.
Yeah.
I will say, I remember just listening to music like on my school bus all the time back when like CD players were like a thing.
You had your own?
Yes.
Did you buy it from your pocket money?
From my what?
From your pocket money?
I don't remember. Yeah, probably. I mean, I remember I was always like trying to save money for batteries, which is so funny to say now because like no one uses CD players. I mean, people use batteries, but and then like headphones.
Things.
Yeah, everything's
I
like.
actually remember. I was I don't know why I'm divulging this. I was homeless, and I had an MP3 player, and this MP3 player, it took one battery, one big ass AA battery. Put the battery in, you get like, I don't know, like 8 hours life out of it maybe. But then, like NF says, you've got to save up to buy more batteries. You can't just buy one battery either. You've got to buy them in packs of like 8. Scamming.
Funny to say now because like no one uses CD players. I mean, people use batteries, but
that's crazy.
And then like
Different
headphones.
things.
Yeah, everything's like so different now.
Yeah.
In my new song motto, I kind of talk about flipping through CDs in the store and stuff.
Yeah.
And now when I think about it, I'm like, it's so weird. It's like there's so many. You know, if you're like a teenager or even like early 20s now, it's like you maybe never even did that stuff or whatever.
No, you have
I
options
said the
now.
same thing.
Yeah, it's way different.
Can you remember the first CD that you bought with your own money?
Oh man, I would have no idea. I was obsessed with like
You don't know.
instrumentals.
You don't know. What? I remember the first CD I ever bought with my own money. That means he had money when he was young. See, I didn't get my own money until I was like a little bit older. The first album I bought was Lil Wayne, Carter 3. Let's go.
I would have no idea.
Paper round money.
I was obsessed with like instrumentals. I get like
Alchemist.
Eminem instrumentals or like what was that 50 Cent
That would have been Alchemist.
How We Do. I think that was a song with the game or
Yes.
something. And I remember I used to rap to that all the time. I got terrible memory, so I don't remember every first CD that I had.
But rap was like the first genre that resonated with you, or was there something before that?
Definitely like spoke to me the most for sure. Yeah, I fell in love with that, and then I kind of like that's what I listened to for years, and I didn't really like listen to much else honestly. And then
By the way, with this sped up, and he must have a cold or something because he keeps going. He sounds like a cokehead.
once I got to like I think it was like I don't know 19-ish, I started like I would listen to some rock rap. I don't know if you like Hollywood Undead's first album or something where it was like kind of screamo but still rapping.
Hollywood
I
Dead.
thought some of that was like cool, but and then I started listening to like Ed Sheeran, Adele,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that, which I'm really happy that I did that just because I feel like it made my music kind of become different, like where it wasn't just rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like a mixture of piano and strings and all that
I
kind of
wish
stuff.
you'd
So.
never heard
Did your
Ed
parents
Sheeran.
have an eye on the kind of music you were listening to at that time?
Did they have an eye on it? Mm-hmm. You mean like were they watching it?
Yeah, because I imagine you were listening to rap music at such a young age.
Yeah, I mean I was definitely like sneaking in CDs that my parents probably like wouldn't want me listening to, but I mean I feel like that's what every kid does.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
That doesn't make it
And when
okay,
did you
Nathan.
actually start to write your own music? How did that happen? Were you conscious that you were writing a song, or was it just...
I used to only I started off like freestyling, where I would just make it up as I go. I had a karaoke machine in my I've talked about it in interviews, but like
You've
a
talked about
little
it in a
karaoke
song as
machine,
well.
and then I take one mic
An outro,
that was
I
hooked
think.
up and put it up against my CD player in my room, play the beat through there, and then rap in the other mic, so it would record it on a tape at the same time. But what? Sorry, I forgot the.
How you started making music.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
when
how I started. I started freestyling, and I fell in love with listening to music, and then listening to music kind of like turned into, oh, what if I try to do this? I just was like so passionate about it. I don't know. I think that's what's cool about people is like everyone has a thing that they're like super passionate about, and that was like my thing. I wasn't good at it, but I loved it so much that it made me eventually like work to get better at it.
Yeah.
And I just kept doing it, and then I started writing songs. Then I started recording, and I loved recording because it's so crazy in the beginning when you like had never recorded a song that you wrote, and then you hear your voice on a song that you wrote. It's just like it's a cool experience in the beginning.
So did you never actually listen to the karaoke machine songs that you produced, kind of?
Oh no, I listened to them.
Okay.
But
What
I
was
would
the
just-
feeling about it?
I mean, I thought it was cool. It
Yeah.
just wasn't the same. You know what I mean? It's just like a tape and a.
Yeah.
But no, that was like the beginning of hearing what I sounded like when I was rapping and like beats. I was always trying to get beats, and then my mom got me the FL Studio program, like the burnt disc that everyone had, where it's like the rip off
Fruit
version.
Loop
But
Studio.
I started making my own beats, and then recording to those. And
So your parents knew that you were making your own music downstairs in the
oh,
basement?
for sure, yeah,
Yeah.
probably more than. Probably the music. I remember one of my sisters being like, "Oh my God, will you just stop?" Any producer, anyone will tell you like, if you don't like when you consume music, like you're just like listening to the song, right? But imagine like sitting in a studio and that song's being produced or recorded, and someone's like pausing it, playing it, pausing it, playing it, replaying it,
You're hearing
replaying 5 seconds.
hours.
Like a producer's like replaying 5 seconds, and they're messing with the whether it's a vocal or instrumental thing, and it's just like all day long you're doing that. So if you're someone who's just like in the room next door hearing that all day, you're like, oh my God, like shut this off. So I'm sure my family's like super supportive, but I'm sure if I was them, I would have been annoyed for sure.
Yeah. Was somebody of your family, was a family member also the first person or one of the first people that you showed your music to? Consciously chose to do that?
Interesting. I can't remember. I remember I had a friend that really liked rap music. We would listen to it all the time.
I had a friend.
So I'm sure he was like one of the first people, or my friends I would show. Sometimes my friends would come over and I'd want to like write raps with them. I don't think they liked it as much as I did, but I remember doing that with some of my friends. I don't know. Probably. I mean, I probably did show my family, but my friends for sure. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Were you always like so ballsy about your art and your music that, because I imagine if I had to show that to somebody, I would be nervous as fuck to do that.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like still nerve wracking to do it because like you're basically like putting your feelings out there for people to like critique or say they don't like it. You know, it'd be like you sitting in this room and being like, man, today I feel depressed and here's why I feel depressed. And then there's like 10 people standing there and they go, I just don't like this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like, it's part of the gig, but it still doesn't change the fact that it's like weird.
Yeah.
You know?
Or people finding it boring, that your pain or your story is boring, doesn't resonate with them.
Yeah. I think I don't know. Sometimes I'm just like, whatever. And then there's other times where I'm still a human where I'm just like, that just annoys me. Or if there's something I feel really passionate about that I like really disagree with that someone's saying, then I'm just like, that doesn't even make sense to me, you know? But
Do you read
Sounds
the
a lot
online
like
comments
me.
and the comment section on, I don't know, YouTube?
oh yeah, like I definitely like whenever I drop something or am releasing something, I definitely like to see how my fans, I like to see the story and like how if people figure stuff out or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love movies.
Then let
so
us
I kind
know.
of like to craft my music as like the next chapter, the next part of the series of a show or movie, whatever. So yeah, I do. I'm definitely like, I think like everyone, I'm attracted to the negative more than the positive.
Don't watch my
but
clouds reaction.
honestly, it's like a goal of mine to get offline a little more because I'm just like, it's not that I post a lot. It's just like I feel like we're all just like so addicted to our phones, and it's like
Not me.
scary. You know what I mean? But that's just for me
Try and
personally.
catch
Yeah,
me
for me
on
as well. I can
social
resonate
media.
with that. Who are the first people nowadays you're showing your music to when you write a new song? Who's the first person you think of wanting to show it to?
I show my wife. She's probably definitely one of the first people. I have like a couple friends that I trust that will give me like their honest opinion if they don't like it or they do like it. They'll say, "Well, I don't like it."
What do you do when they don't?
I'll just ask them like, "What don't you like about it?" Because sometimes in the process of making music, you get so numb to it where you can't see it clearly anymore. Like you've just heard it so many times that it's just like background noise for you, and so you can't look at it for what it actually is.
Can't look
So it's helpful
objectively.
to show people who haven't heard it because they're just you're seeing the first experience that you had months ago in someone else, and finding people you trust who will actually say. Now, I don't always agree. You know, my wife might love a song that I'm like, yeah, it's good, but I don't love it. or you know, the other way around. But it's like I still know she'll tell me. And then like my friends, like one of my good friends, I know he likes rap a lot more than singing stuff, so he's always going to gravitate towards that kind of stuff. So yeah, no, I definitely value opinions, but also there's just certain things you're not going to agree.
So it sounds like you seek the opinion of people who are not professional musicians or working in the industry.
Yeah, I mean, one of my best friends is who I make a lot of my songs with, so obviously I'm getting his feedback while we're working on it, and he's definitely a professional. But yeah, people who just like consume music, because the problem I feel like sometimes people, like a normal consumer is one of the most important opinions, because it's like that's who's consuming your music. It's like it's great if you play it for, you know, the label or like the guy who, you know, other music producers or stuff, but sometimes they're just like so focused on things that no one listens to. So it's good to get someone who can just listen to music normally and isn't like, if you make movies for a living, every time you watch a movie you're gonna be like, why did they do that like that? Or, oh, I like the coloring they did here. It's like if you're a normal person watching it, you're just like, I like this movie or I don't like this movie.
Yeah,
so
also.
I do think it's valuable to watch that and see how normal people react to it.
Yeah. Also, I would imagine that professionals are looking for mistakes, kind of,
Yes.
and non-professionals are more in the feeling zone of
which I think is actually more important. Like that happens to me all the time in my record process, is where like all I can hear are mistakes. I can't even listen to the song. All I can hear is what's wrong with it, or that's wrong, I gotta fix this, and I can't even listen to it. And I have terrible OCD. It's just kind of gotten worse in that area. So sometimes I cannot listen to the song until I fix what the problem was, because I'll just obsess about the problem and knowing I want to fix it, and it's like torture to listen to it. So it's really annoying.
Is that just with your own music, or can you enjoy other artists?
Yeah, it's just with my own music.
Okay.
Like I can listen to other artists' music and I'm fine because it's not mine. I might have opinions like, oh, I feel like the 808's too loud, like they should have mastered it different or whatever. But I'm like, I can listen to it fine.
Yeah.
It's actually frustrating because I'll like listen to stuff and I'll be like, oh, I feel like my stuff, my mixing and mastering is what kills me in the process. People don't understand that world, but for me it's like torture, because you make something, mixing and mastering is super important, and if you don't get it right, it can change how your whole song sounds. And so it's like torture for me, because also I'm like, well, was this version better, was this version better, and then I get stuck in a loop where I'm like, I literally on this album sat in my car for like 10 hours straight listening to like 2 or 3 different versions of the same song, trying to pick one
100%.
because I was like, well, I like this better in this version, and I like this and this, and that's
So, but it also sounds like you never get the satisfaction of, okay, this song is perfect now, I like it now, I got it right.
Yeah, sometimes I'll get to the end and be like, all right, I feel good, and sometimes I don't. I think this process with this album it took me so long, and I was just having like some of my own personal issues that it just like took too long, and so I got too numb to it, and then it made it very difficult to like make decisions and finish it. So, but yeah, it's my least favorite part of the process for sure, is mixing and mastering it and turning it in, because then when you know it's over, when you turn it in, you're like, it's in, it's over.
Yeah, you can't work on it anymore.
Yeah,
it's in other people's hands. If somebody were to say, I'm sure a lot of people are saying it, but I love NF, I love listening to his music, and I also love, who are some artists that you would love to be named in a row with?
I mean, I'd rather not be named in a row. I feel like I'd rather
be separate.
I don't know, I feel like, I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I have like nobody in the world can do what I do, that's not what I'm saying, but I do feel like me and Tommy, my buddy I've worked with for like 10 years, I do think we kind of like created a lane. Like, I don't think I got as big as I did because I'm the best. I think him and I like created a genre that didn't exist. So I really do feel like, especially nowadays in music, one of the biggest ways to become successful, even though like the game's changing a lot since like from when I started, but is to really be different. Like start something that other people aren't doing. You know, when I do a song that sounds more like a Drake record, it doesn't do that well for me. Not because the song's not good. It's just like, I think people expect different from me because I've done a different sound. It's like some people will say, oh, every song has strings and piano. It's like, you could say that about everyone's album. You know, you could go to Adele's record and be like, oh, the whole album is piano.
I don't agree with him here. I don't agree that he like made a new genre and carved out his own lane. I don't agree with that. I agree that his sound is quite unique, but that's more to do with Tommy Prophet's background in TV dramas. So that's creating that suspense and that drama that you see inherent within NF's music. And I assume that's why he's shouting out Tommy as well, because he understands that if it weren't for the beats, NF would have just been the same as every other rapper who is making this kind of music. Because what NF does, he opens up more than a lot of these other artists do. But these artists are still doing the same thing that he's doing, and they have been for a very long time. like opening up about their mental state. There's artists that have done that for years. There's artists that did that in the 60s, 70s, 80s. This isn't anything new that NF's bringing, so I don't know why he's saying that. That seems a bit musically ignorant of NF. Although, to be fair, he's already claimed that he only really listened to Eminem, Adele, and Ed Sheeran. And he keeps mentioning the same names, so I don't think that NF listens to a lot of different music. So I don't know, maybe I can't take his opinion seriously when he's saying that he carved out a new lane. Because it's not a new lane. It's not a new lane, and he's not doing anything different. He is doing something to a high standard. He's got this all the wrong way round. Like, people don't like him because he's doing something different, because there are other people doing this, and they're not as successful as him. So when you take that out of the equation, the only thing that's left is his talent. So I don't understand why he's not believing in his own talent more, especially when he made records on Hope, like Careful, where it's, oh, I've never been this confident, I don't see me coming down from the pinnacle, rare tear tear. But then he's also talking like this in an interview after that album. Do you see what I mean about the contradictions? Do you see what I mean about the juxtapositioning? Are you guys going, oh, it's not a contradiction, it's just... No, I get it. It is a contradiction, though. The guy's saying, oh, I've never been this confident, but then a week later in an interview, he's talking about, oh, well, I don't want to say that I'm the best. He literally made a track saying, I'm the GOAT. He literally made a track saying that. So are the tracks real or are they not? Is that who you want to be? This is what I'm saying. This is why I find it difficult to believe everything that I hear from an NF track, because this is real life and he's telling a different story to what he's telling in his music. So I don't know what's real, because this is real life, right? He's talking one-on-one to another human about how he feels. And he's saying, I'm not that confident. But then his lyrics are saying, I'm hella confident. Which is it? That's annoyed me.
But it's like, yeah, but who cares? I mean, that's like just her style. Like, that's what she does. And for me, I feel like I've kind of created a lane where it's like, yeah, I like the sounds that I like, but I always feel like I mix it up enough. And I'm also doing something other people aren't doing. So I feel like people come to my music for that, because they're like, yeah, I mean, we can get a normal hip hop song from other artists, but I'm doing more of a musical, theatrical thing. So,
would you have a name in mind for your own genre?
Again, like a musical, theatrical thing. Donald Glover, Childish Gambino. His Because the Internet album was an entire concept album. It wasn't just hip-hop, but it was primarily hip-hop. But he had the whole singing thing in there too, and he was very, very introspective. And that was years ago. Years before NF. I don't know, man. There's so many artists that have done things like this, so this isn't innovative at all, really. He might have believed it is because he hasn't heard the music that is exactly the same as his before. But it's out there. It's definitely out there.
Would you have a name in mind for your own genre?
No, I just describe it as like a movie trailer.
A movie trailer?
I don't know, just like part of it. Like, it's like a story. It's like a journey. I like my records are very cinematic, but also like they just jump around so much. It's like, Hope is there's a bunch of horror film sounds in there, but I'm rapping on hip hop kind of drums at one point, but also it's like an emotional string thing at the end. Like, if you hear that instrumental by itself, you could put that in a movie. You'd have to mix it different without my voice on it, but you could do that. And then
that's because Tommy Prophet made music for TV dramas before he became your producer. That's why. It's nothing unique. It just means that Tommy Prophet decided to take something that he learned in one space and bring it to the rap and hip hop space. That's all that means. It's not. I don't know. Like watching something roll down a hill and then claiming you invented the wheel. Like, you just. This is annoying me now.
Next song motto is. It's not like pop, but it's kind of like. It's catchy like that, but it also feels a little alternative with the way the drums are, And then the song with Corday is like very hip hop.
Yeah, I want to talk about that later.
Yeah, I love that song. And then Mama's like super personal, super emotional. So yeah, it's just like the whole record is just kind of up and down, which I've always loved to do because, but it still all sounds like me. I think it like
because what?
Yeah, and what comes first in your process? This
is annoying me now. I shouldn't have watched an NF interview with this woman. Maybe there's a reason why this was taken down, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Maybe that's why it was taken down. I don't know. But this does not make any sense. This doesn't make any sense. How can he claim that he's like the best on the whole Hope track? Claiming that he's the best and that he's miles better than he was before, but now he's coming across with such low confidence in his own abilities, talking more about the production than he is about his own lyrics. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. I mean, you guys are like, oh, you questioning too much. Everything has a reason. Everything that a human does is for a reason. If you think otherwise, that's your fault. I don't know. Die stupid. That's all that's gonna come of that. I don't know, man. It's just annoying me. The amount of juxtapositioning, like, between his lyrics and real life. And this is within a week of him putting the album out there for everybody to hear. For everybody to hear how confident he's become. Only to watch an interview to see that he's not actually that confident at all. So was the whole album a lie? Because I went through something emotional, thinking like, yes, we've finally got that Nate who's confident in his abilities, and then boom, it turns out that was just a record to make a new record, to do something new, to sell units or something. I don't know. This has pissed me off. It's been your boy.